All right, let's talk about one of the most legendary figures in history, the 17th century Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. This man wasn't just a warrior, he was a master philosopher, and his wisdom is, frankly, more relevant today than ever. So, get this. Over the course of his life, he fought in 61 life-or-death duels. And his record? He was completely, totally undefeated. A perfect streak. Now that's what I call mastery. But here's the twist, and this is the really fascinating part. His true power, his real edge, it wasn't the sword in his hand. His greatest victories were actually won before a single blade was even drawn. So what on earth was his real weapon? Well, it was his mind. And that brings us to the first and maybe the most important pillar of his whole philosophy, mastering your inner state. You see, for Musashi, every single conflict, every challenge is first won or lost right here, inside your own head. Just look at this contrast. On one side, you have what we could call the modern trap. This is where most of us live, right? We're clinging to outcomes we can't control, to people, to possessions, thinking they define who we are. But the Musashi way, that's something else entirely. It's about a radical, almost ruthless detachment from anything and everything that no longer serves you. In his own words, it's simple. Detachments is the way. Now, this doesn't mean you become cold or you stop caring. Not at all. It means you gain clarity. It's the freedom to finally see the world as it is, not just as your own hopes and fears are projecting onto it. So, let's break that down. Musashi's big point was that most of our problems, most of our suffering, it comes directly from these attachments. The real fight is always internal. The mind is the true battlefield. And to have any chance of winning there, you first have to really know yourself, your patterns, your weaknesses, your real motivations. Let's just call this what it is, mental mastery. It's this deep fundamental understanding that your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions are what drive your actions. If you can win that battle internally before it even starts on the outside, you've already won. Okay, so you've got this foundation of inner mastery. That's great. But how do you actually turn that internal mindset into real-world strength and results? Well, that leads us right to the second pillar, the discipline of daily practice. And again, look at this difference in approach. The modern trap is to rely on a little bit of natural talent, to dabble in a million different things but never really master any of them. Musashi's way was the opposite. It was about obsessive, focused daily practice. It was about choosing one path and going deeper than anyone else. He had this incredible quote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is victory over lesser men." I mean, how powerful is that? The main competition isn't with other people. It's with the person you were yesterday. If you can beat that person consistently, you become unstoppable. Musashi's path to getting there can really be broken down into 3 key steps. First, deep practice. He said, from one thing, know 10,000 things. By mastering one skill completely, you learn the underlying principles of all mastery. Second, simple focus. He was absolutely ruthless about eliminating anything, and I mean anything, that didn't serve his core mission. And third, decisive action. Once you've chosen your path, you move. You don't hesitate. Hesitation is death, fluidity is life. So when you combine that inner mental mastery with this kind of disciplined daily action, what you get is something much bigger. You get a complete philosophy for strength, for living an unbeatable life. And you guessed it, here we see another huge contrast. Our entire culture is basically designed to get you to chase comfort, pleasure, and the approval of other people. Musashi's way is the total opposite. It's about embracing voluntary hardship, because that's what forges you. And it's about living by your own standards, not someone else's. Now, this quote can seem a little extreme, right? Do not pursue the taste of good food. But he wasn't really just talking about dinner. What he meant was, every time you choose comfort, you are trading away capability. By choosing to reject ease on your own terms, you build a kind of resilience that can't be bought. So the tenets of his way of life are pretty straightforward, but they're incredibly challenging. First, comfort makes you weak, period. Second, stop chasing validation from other people. It just makes you their puppet. And third, understand that real strength isn't being rigid like a rock. It's being adaptable like water. Musashi actually had a name for this, fluidity. It's not about being disorganized or having no plan. It's about not becoming a prisoner of your plan. It's the intelligent flexibility to adapt your strategy to what's actually happening in front of you instead of stubbornly clinging to what you thought would happen. And that, my friends, is a superpower. So the big question is, why should we care about the philosophy of a swordsman from the 1600s? What does this have to do with us today? Well, everything, because this way of thinking gives you an absolutely unbeatable advantage. See, these aren't just some cool, abstract ideas for a history book. This is a practical, step-by-step framework. It's a tool you can use to cut through all the modern noise, all the delusions, all the comfortable lies we tell ourselves, and actually build a life of real power and purpose. And this really is the bottom line. The person, man or woman, who truly gets this, who internalizes these truths about detachment and discipline and self-mastery, that person gains an advantage in life that is almost impossible to overcome. So, I'll leave you with this. Musashi's entire path is based on a trade-off. You sacrifice comfort in order to gain capability. So the real question isn't about him, it's about you. What comfort in your life are you willing to challenge today so you can become stronger tomorrow?